Damian Lillard, shooter. Anthony Davis, dunker. Damian Lillard, shoot. Oh, we're on? Oh, my bad. Well, if you want to shoot like Damian Lillard or dunk like Anthony Davis, Magic Spoon cereal will help you get there because it's healthy and it's packed with protein. And you can get $5 off at checkout by going to magicspoon.com/Lakers. Let the Damian Lillard to the Lakers trade rumors commence, and I'm totally here for it. So last week, Dame and LeBron seen sideline at a Los Angeles Sparks game at the WNBA level, which has prompted a lot of people to speculate, hey, Damian Lillard to the Lakers to team up with LeBron James, are they already talking? Well, Colin Cowherd went on his radio show, The Herd, last week on FS1 and said, Dame for AD, I'd do it tomorrow. So let's explore it here on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. So basically, Cowherd's argument was this. The time to win for the Lakers is now. And Anthony Davis is always injured, whereas Damian Lillard is not. He said AD missed as many games this year as Dame has missed his entire career. And basically it boiled down to this for Cowherd. It's a year-to-year league, and with LeBron James turning 37 years old in December, the time to win is right now, and you must capitalize on this win-now mode that the Lakers are currently in. He also listed 3 things that LeBron needs right now until the end of his career. Here's what he had to say. LeBron James needs for the remainder of his career, 1, a guy who can play almost every game so LeBron can take the foot off the gas, take 6, 8, 10 games off a year and play fewer minutes. Dame never gets hurt. AD always does. Kind of a fact. He went on to say this. He also needs somebody that is as committed as he is. Dwayne Wade was. Chris Bosh was. AD's not. That stuff doesn't change. Some questions about AD's work ethic. He finalized this point by saying this. LeBron James needs somebody that he can leave the floor and the offense is fine. It's always fine with Dame. Dame time is always a good time. It's always fine with Dame. Every single night, just as committed as LeBron, comes into the season in shape, can play almost every game, doesn't have a history with getting hurt. Dame plays every game. He also said this, and I thought this was pretty fascinating. In the NBA right now, teams are aggressive in the front office. They're taking home run swings. And in recent history, it indicates that those moves, those big swings have worked. Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors. It netted Toronto its first NBA championship. Anthony Davis to the Lakers. Year 1, a ring. Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns. I think the Suns are going to go on to win the NBA title. That move clearly worked because CP3 changed the entire course of history and culture within that Suns franchise. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi doesn't get hurt, Clippers could have been victorious. Yeah, I know that might make Lakers fans cringe a little bit, but they were playing excellent basketball when Kawhi was in the lineup. Now, I've said this here on the Lakers Report. I'm a big fan of AD. He's a generational talent. He is one of one. He is absolutely special. There's a lot of good. There's some bad. And yes, I'd probably say the good outweighs the bad, but let's break it down. The good for AD, as I mentioned, a generational talent. This dude is so unique in terms of his athleticism and his skill set. A point guard in high school who blossoms to 6'10 and becomes one of the gifted players that we've seen in the course of NBA history. That's all facts. He's also an elite two-way player. He'll lock you down on the defensive end. He'll be a rim-running big. He'll mix it up down low offensively, but also extend his offensive game to around the arc, and he'll knock down some threes. Not a lot of guys across the league that have the size, the athleticism, and the skill set who can do that. He's a top 3 to 5 player when healthy. But here's the issue. It is that health. You saw what AD can be in games 2 and 3 against the Suns in that series. If AD plays, I think the Lakers win that series, and they might be able to go back-to-back. But AD gets hurt. Lakers' hopes of an NBA championship go down the toilet because AD, going back to his early days with the New Orleans Pelicans, has been injury-riddled, injury-prone, and somewhat brittle. I know there are a lot of AD truthers. That's the fact. As for the bad, it's the injuries and him being way too brittle. He's not always reliable because he's not always on the floor. And LeBron James needs a consistent a reliable number 2 option because the Lakers are going for championships right now. And let's be real, LeBron, 36 years old, he's the bionic man. It's insane how healthy he's been throughout his career, but Father Time is ticking. And the injuries are starting to pile up. How is LeBron James going to age given that he's a physical specimen who can play 1 through 5? That's a big question. LeBron needs a reliable number 2. Damian Lillard could be that guy. And the time to win, as I said, it's right now for LeBron James and the Lakers. I think LeBron has maybe 3-4 prime all-time years left. After that, it's a little bit of a concern. So why not capitalize on this win-now window right now with LeBron James and Damian Lillard, because Lillard is a guy who you can rely on. He's a go-to scorer. He's clutch. And his offensive acumen, it's extraordinary. Now, a lot of Lakers fans have said, trade for Damian Lillard. Trade for Damian Lillard. The only realistic way you can trade for Damian Lillard is if you part with Anthony Davis, which is a very, very tough decision to make, but a realistic one. You'd have to give up AD in a deal for Damian Lillard. That's why Cowherd is talking about it. That's why I talked about it several weeks ago. Does Cowherd listen and watch the Lakers report? Possibly. The Lakers lack assets. You're not going to give up KCP and Kyle Kuzma for Damian Lillard. It's not just going to happen. So be realistic about it. And if you want Dame, you're going to have to give Anthony Davis up. And here's what the trade would look like. A 1-for-1 player-for-player swap, because the salaries match, and if the Blazers want to give up their franchise superstar, they want another franchise superstar in return, a guy who's a generational talent in Anthony Davis. So would you do it tomorrow, like Colin Cowherd had said on his radio show? Get your votes in. Let me know. I know this is a hot ticket item. Embrace debate, baby. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section down below. The Lakers Report is presented to you by Magic Spoon. I wouldn't be able to do this show if it wasn't for Magic Spoon. It's cereal that is healthy, but also delicious. Per serving, 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, under 200 calories per bowl, high in protein, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, wheat-free, naturally flavored, and totally delicious. Speaking of delicious, Magic Spoon has a bevy of flavors that will absolutely rock your taste buds. You can get together and get a variety pack using that link that's in the comment section as well as the bottom of your screen, or you can go with fruity. Peanut butter is my personal favorite. Cocoa tastes just like Cocoa Puffs, but it's much better. Cinnamon, frosted, raspberry. A plethora of flavors trotted out there by Magic Spoon, and sometimes they even go with flavors that are available for limited time only. You want to see what I'm talking about? You want to taste the deliciousness of Magic Spoon while also including it in your diet in a healthy manner? MagicSpoon.com/Lakers. That link in the description as well as the comment section of this video. Could the Lakers bring in DeMar Derozan of the San Antonio Spurs? Maybe. It'd take a lot to get it done, and also the Lakers would have to do some maneuvering in order to bring DeRozan into Los Angeles, where he's from, a guy who's been one of the best guards in the NBA over the last several seasons. Now, DeRozan is set to be an unrestricted free agent. His 5-year, $139 million contract is going to expire. But because the Lakers are tight on cash, they're going to have to work out a sign-and-trade in order to bring DeRozan in. That's how this deal would be realistic and possible. I don't think DeRozan is going to go back to San Antonio because he doesn't fit the Spurs win-now window. That's a team, or doesn't fit the Spurs window right now, because the Spurs are clearly a real rebuilding team. They no longer have Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili. They're kind of resetting their franchise a little bit. So why bring in DeRozan when he's in his early 30s on the back nine of his career when he doesn't really fit their window of rebuilding? Also, for DeRozan to go back to the Lakers, the reason, and one of the reasons why these Lakers rumors have been picking up, he's from Compton. He's from the Los Angeles area. DeRozan has ties to LA, and it'd be cool to see him at least end his career or continue his career with his hometown team and help himself win his first championship throughout his career. And as we know, LeBron James, he loves his veterans, and he has as much of a say on the roster as Rob Pelinka does. LeBron James likes to surround himself with vets. That has proven to be a winning formula because LeBron James now has 4 championships. Hasn't really developed younger players because he likes vets, because that helps the team contend right now. So that's why I think that there is some buzz, there is some speculation that is to be accounted for here with DeMar Derozan. But DeRozan's going to be 32 years old in August. Who is he at this point of his career, and can he still be an elite player? Say you don't trade away AD, and you have LeBron, AD, DeMar Derozan. I actually think that works well for Derozan because he's not going to have to be the number one offensive option, and he's somewhat limited offensively because he doesn't take three-point shots. When you have LeBron and AD, you don't really have to worry about that because I think he'd be a good complement to those guys. Relax, Lakers fans. If you're saying at home right now, there's no way that the Lakers can even afford DeMar Derozan. He just got done a 5-year, $139 million contract. It's all good. He's not going to demand massive money out on the open market because he's not the player that he once was when he signed that deal 5 years ago. I'll tell you this, DeMar Derozan's still a really good player, though. 21.5 points per game this past year. Little more than 4 rebounds. His assist numbers were really good, almost at 7, and he shot 49.5% from the floor. His career stats, this is why I said he's been one of the best two guards in the league for a long time, and he's been getting after it for more than a decade, 12 years to be exact. Career numbers are awesome. 20 points per game, shooting 46% from the deck his entire career. DeMar Derozan has been an outstanding player, a multi-time All-Star. It's unfortunate how his career and him got kind of ousted out of Toronto. Then they went on to win the championship. Worked well for Toronto. Didn't work for Derozan, but he still got paid, and he's still been putting up huge numbers. I want to go back to the sign and trade aspect of this. Who could the Lakers give up in a sign and trade to lure DeRozan to Los Angeles so that he's reunited in his hometown, playing for the hometown squad? Maybe Kyle Kuzma. According to some reports, it's been said that the Spurs really like Kuzma. That's a chip that could be used in a trade. Why is that? Kuzma, young player, he's been underperforming. He fits the rebuilding process that's currently going on in San Antonio right now, and he's not really that expensive for the Spurs, $13 million over the next couple of seasons. If that is a player-for-player swap or something like that that gets it done, I'd certainly think about it. What do you think? Do you want DeMar Derozan on the Lakers next year with LeBron and AD? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Be sure to get your votes in the comment section down below. I, right now, would pass on this deal. DeRozan, he's a solid player. He's not what he once was in his prime. I still think he can be really good, but I'm not expecting him to average 20, 21 points a game for the Lakers. I'm interested to see what his market is going to be as a free agent if he does hit the open market and doesn't go to a team like the Lakers via sign and trade, because I'm not sure what teams are going to be willing to fork over for a guy who's clearly going to the back nine of his career. If you made it this far, hopefully you like what you're watching here on the Lakers Report. We're trying to get to 37,000 subscribers, and we're almost there. For all of your Lakers free agency coverage, hey, subscribe to the Lakers Report by Chat Sports, youtube.com/LakersTV. That link at the bottom of your screen will allow you to subscribe or hit that red subscribe button down below.